Coach Doc, good afternoon. How's it going for you this afternoon?
Sam, it's going great, man. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, anytime, brother. Anytime. Congratulations. The train is still moving. A 3-2 win over Green, and now you're in the Final Four. You'll take on Riverside coming up here on June the 7th. Boy, what a year, man. A tough start, and what got this team going? Was it a certain win or two, a practice? What happened?
So the players are making fun of me. When we were 4-11, that was our record at the tournament draw. We got the 16 seed, and we sat down and had a talk. I'm like, look, you guys are potentially on pace to be the worst team in 47 years of Perry softball history, but you could also be one of 8 teams to win a district title. Like, I do believe that to be true as well, and the outcomes were vast, and not that talk did it. But they keep telling me I told them they were the worst team in softball. That is not true. But we had a potential to be. But then we went on a little run where we knocked off Jackson, Hoover, and Green back to back in the Federal League. And that is where I started to see our confidence start to turn. So those were games. I remember Jackson was April 23rd. And then we played in early May back to back Hoover, Green, and we knocked off both of those. And that's where I felt things started to turn.
And turn they did. And then you're on a heater now. You beat Avon, doubleheader with North Royalton, of course, Amherst Steel, and then Green. So that's 5 in a row there. But I mean, was it pitching, hitting, a combination of both, or was it just the girls said, hey, you know what? Coach might be onto something. We can win a district title. We can maybe go win a regional. What happened?
Yeah, early in the year, like maybe to your point, we talked about pitching, hitting, defense, and we had a lot of games where we didn't have any 3 of those categories come through for us. And recently, we've been playing really good defense. We had 1 error against Green, and that hurt us for a run. We didn't have any against North Royalton. So we've really been playing clean defensively. I didn't realize this till after the game. Anna Keller, our freshman pitcher, threw an immaculate inning against Green in the first inning. 9 pitches, 9 strikes, 3 strikeouts.
Wow, that's awesome.
She was not a strikeout pitcher the entire year. She's really not. She struck out 70 in 120 regular season innings, and then she racked up 13 on Friday night in the regional final. Came out of nowhere. Hitting wise, we only had 5 hits, but we did a lot of little things well that led to runs for us. And we scored early. We put up 2 runs in the first inning, and we've just been battling much better. Allie Dennis had 2 at-bats with 10 plus pitches. Like, she saw like 23 pitches and 2 at-bats. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't even know that they resulted in hits, but we're battling and we're doing really good things.
Green had won 20 games, I believe, when you guys beat him 3-2 in a tough, tight game. And most of your games, I was looking down the schedule, whether it was a win or even a couple of losses, not a lot of crazy blowouts either side of the ledger, Coach. And that's got to help pay dividends here when things are really tight. Everything is amplified. Every pitch, you're on the edge of your seat. That's had to have been a big help to you, hasn't it?
Yeah, so the week before the tournament started, we went up to Berea Mid-Park. They were the 9th ranked team in Division I, and we had the lead the whole game, and then we blew it in the bottom of the 7th inning. We lost 4-3, and then later that week, we got walked off by Hillsdale, who also won a district title. We were up 2-0 the whole game, and then in the bottom of the 7th, we gave it up and lost 3-2. And it, like you're saying, there were games early in our year where we did get blown out. We got run ruled by Walsh Jesuit, Warren Champion, and Lake back to back to back, right? We didn't even make it to the 6th inning. These were 5-inning games, and we weren't real competitive. And then these games, we were right there. And I just kind of talked to our players like, you guys realize you're putting yourselves in position to be successful. And we weren't always successful, but we were putting ourselves in the position to be. And then in the tournament run, we where we kind of folded and under the pressure a little earlier, we haven't lately.
Also, as I look back, and you mentioned those two games, the Berea Mid-Park 4-3 loss, your next game you come back, you beat Field. that tough loss to Hillsdale. Very next game, you come back, you beat Avon. It looks like you got a resilient bunch there.
They are, and they have come as far as any team I've ever coached. If you go back to the first day of tryouts on President's Day in February till now, we're not the most talented team I've had, but they have come the furthest for sure.
We are talking with Scott Daugherty, head softball coach, longtime softball coach at Perry. The Panthers are still dancing. They will play June 7th, 10 a.m., I believe, against Riverside at Firestone up in Akron. That is a state semifinal. I got to ask you, Coach, talk about some of the young ladies that have really been playing with everything they've got here, especially late year and then into the tournament run.
All right. I hope you got a lot of time.
Go for it, man. You're on the big stage today. Hit it.
Look, I'll probably start with Allie Dennis at third base. She's never played third base. She's a sophomore. She's never lettered. And we put her at third at the beginning of the year, and she was real tentative. I remember a game at Jackson. We lost 5-1 where they laid down a bunt, and she comes charging in and literally runs our catcher over. And Amelia Bonk's trying to field the ball and throw to first, and Allie runs her over. I went back and I watched our film at North Ridgeville. There's a pop-up to her, and she drops it. It was a real learning curve. Well, she leads our team in hitting. She's the player we said saw 23 pitches the other night and 2 at-bats. Hasn't made an error in over a month. She has really solidified us there, and she's our 4-hitter. We got a freshman catcher, Amelia Bonk. I mean, she's unbelievable. We call the games, but she and Anna Keller have just been on the same page. I mean, they're chest bumping after every inning. They're excited. She is third on our team in hitting. She hits third in our lineup. She is just such a tough out. Lacey Zapatachny, our second baseman, she's third on our team in hitting. She's done a great job at second base. Delaney Dietrich leads our team in on-base percentage. She's going to West Liberty in the fall. That's where Riverside's pitcher's going as well. They're actually going to be roommates in the fall at West Lib. But Delaney's she's been awesome lately. Had 3 hits against Green. Started us off Friday night with a double against Green and scored our first run. Caitlin Bing, our 5-hitter, is second on our team in RBIs, and I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Aubrey Creator has settled in at right field. She didn't start the whole first half of the year. We actually had a right fielder that fell off the bus.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
And hasn't been healthy since.
Boy.
And Aubrey came in and has done a great job. Our 7-hitter's Leanna Turner, and she's just a really crafty player and has played great defense at shortstop. Jocelyn France at first base has given us great leadership out of the position. And then our 9-hitter is a freshman center fielder, Addie Morrison, and she's gotten on base a bunch in the tournament and really played her best softball in the last 2 weeks.
Not to make light of the situation, but I got to ask, how does one fall out of the bus? I mean,
you may have to call Ella Stahl and ask her.
How do you do that?
We get off the bus at Berea Mid Park, and I went to check out the field and the facility, and how do we get in? And Mike Hagee, our assistant coach, starts calling me over to the bus, and I see a player sprawled out on the parking lot on the concrete.
I don't mean
and I didn't know who it was, and it was her birthday.
Oh, happy birthday! Wow.
Yeah, so I think she missed a step, man. And then she had her backpack on her with all of her softball stuff. And I think just the weight of it all came down and twisted her ankle. And she was in a walking boot for weeks.
Oh my Lord.
She's just now starting to get back to softball activities.
Wow. I'm glad she's doing all right. Holy cow. That's unbelievable. Scott Daugherty is our guest.
She's going to hate me for telling that story, by the way, but that's all right.
Well, that's on you, buddy. That's on you. I didn't pull that out of you. So now that you're in the Final Four here, and of course, the Perry Panthers do have a little hardware in that case over there on 13th Street as far as softball state championships are concerned. What do you tell the girls now in preparation, and what can you tell us much about Riverside?
Yeah, so we actually, I'll tell it this way. We played Riverside twice last year. They smoked us in the regular season, 15-4, and then we didn't throw Maddie Elliott, our number one. So we got to the tournament draw, and everybody wanted to avoid Austintown Fitch and Sydney Watts last year.
Sure.
So we ended up in a sectional with Riverside, and they beat us 3-0. And they were kind of young. Like they had like 4 freshmen starting. Both of their pitchers were going to be back from last year, and they made it to regionals last year. We knew they were good. So this year, basically their coach reached out like, "You guys want to play again and come up here?" And I'm like, Bill, it's Bill Ross. I'm like, "Bill, I don't know that we can give you much of a game. Like, let's wait a year." So early in March, we got nice weather, and I just reached out to all the Northeast Ohio teams. Like, does anybody want to come to Perry and scrimmage? And Bill's the first guy that contacts me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Bill, I really don't know that we can give you much of a game." He's like, "Nah, man, we just want to play." And they came down to Perry in March and scrimmaged us. And I mean, it might have been 18-0. Anna Keller wasn't pitching then. She had a Liz Frank injury. Was in all summer or all winter rather. And, so that's how this started. I mean, we were so green and young. And so they came and they put it on us in March. And I went and watched them Saturday, just up and down their lineup. They're really good 1 through 9. I talked to you about their pitcher. She's going to West Liberty. She's a left-handed pitcher, which I don't think it's as big a deal in softball, but you just don't see him very often.
Right.
She throws about 60 miles an hour, which that's kind of a threshold in high school softball. When you start getting into the 60s, that's a different beast and a different animal to handle. And she's got a nice variety of pitches with a good changeup. So that's going to be a challenge for us, but it's not anything we haven't seen. I mean, Green has a 60-mile-an-hour plus. North Royalton had it. Avon had it. So we've seen this kind of pitching. It's just from the other side. But it's their offense. I mean, they had 19 hits against North Ridgeville on Saturday in their regional final.
Oof.
And they are right where they thought they would be. You could see this Painesville Riverside team building. Went to regionals last year, and I think they're right where they thought they would be.
Well, they gotta put up with the Perry Panthers, so we'll see what happens here coming up here on June the 7th. This time of year is always tournament time. Late May, you get into June, and I know it's hard to read 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, student athletes, whatever. But what's your feel? What's your vibe on this particular team as they get ready for the big stage?
Yeah, so we practiced this morning, and we've been talking for 2 weeks just about, the further you get, the more the microscope gets on you, right? Like, no offense, Sam, you didn't have us on 2 months ago, right?
Right. I fell out of the bus. Come on.
2 months ago.
Right.
And now they're starting to get some attention. And I know how Perry people are, man. I'm a Perry guy, and they're going to fill the stadium on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
So we've really had to try to talk to them, even in regionals and districts to some extent, about keeping your focus in between the lines. So I think they've got some benefit. I mean, I have 3 assistant coaches that have over 110 years of softball experience.
Wow.
And we've been to the state tournament 3 times since 2010. And, so as coaches, we've been there before, and these players really have handled the pressure so well in districts and regionals. We had a pretty calm group to begin with, but they've just been so laser focused. We've got to get them to experience the moments a little bit on Saturday morning as the crowd rolls in. I mean, in 21, there were 3,400 people there. There were 2,900 at the state semifinal in 21. So this is, we haven't seen more than a couple hundred people at any of our games. This is going to be a different animal for our players, but we know how to get them ready. And so far they've handled these moments really well.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Perry sports in general has had an incredible run here this school year. With the basketball team goes to Dayton, the baseball team went really, really far. You guys, and they bounced back from a tough start, and look where they ended. You guys had a tough start. You're in the Final Four. It's great to see, and I said the same thing to Coach Craig with the baseball team, and it almost seems like everything is just kind of bouncing off one another, and everybody has just kind of come together, and it's Perry, it's the PTO, we're all under the umbrella together, and good things are happening. This is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's Craig Whitaker was my assistant for my first 2 years of softball. We go way back, man. We played baseball together at Perry. Coach Bowl and basketball and what they were able to do. Our girls bowling team were runners up. Brent McBurney and Perry wrestling.
Yeah, right,
runners
right.
Up. Sam, because of the way Perry is, and again, man, I went to Watson Elementary, man. I grew up in Perry. We don't brag about ourselves. So I think a lot of times we go under the radar because you know what I mean? We don't brag about the stuff we do. And I don't know that we promote ourselves all that well, but I do hope our community's taking notice, because I know what great kids we have. I teach 10th grade English. I'm in the high school every day, man. I see you there at the high school.
Yeah, I was subbing all year. Yeah.
I hope they were great for you.
Oh, they were.
What we get to see every day, man.
Kids are fantastic.
They are. And I hope more people start to kind of see what we're trying to do and kind of get on board a little earlier. But
yeah.
I told the kids, man, I said, look, a lot of people want to get on the bandwagon now. Let them. Like, don't be mad that they weren't there 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Like, there's room for everybody, man. And we just want to share this with everybody. And we kind of, we want to make our community proud. And I know we have a group of girls that are going to do that. And that's why I want people to see them and just kind of get to be around them a little bit.
Well, there it is. The olive branch has been put out there. June 7th, 10 o'clock, Firestone up at Akron. It's Perry against Riverside State semifinal, and we wish you nothing but the best, Coach. PTO, get out there and get behind these girls and let them hear you up there on Saturday morning. Go get them, Coach. We will be following pitch by pitch.
Thanks, Sam. I appreciate you having me on, man.
You got it. There he goes. Scotty Daugherty, the head softball coach of the Perry Panthers, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN.